Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Another little cooler today, but it is warmed up now. It's the heat of the day, right about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is kind of why I'm doing the yak sessions now, because I do my morning work and then it'll start to cool down. I've got a whole load of work to do in the evenings as well, and dogs to work in both segments, morning and evening, is usually when I work the dogs because of the heat. So in the heat of the day, this is when I'm in the trailer and I'm trying to stay a little cool. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the video I just posted. It should be there within minutes. It's uploading now with Lucifer. Okay, so I'm taking all 3 puppies out. Today is their birthday. They are 12 weeks old today. Yay! Happy birthday, puppies. So taking them out to Tractor Supply, and you're desensitizing them. You're getting them used to environment. So you remember me talking about the Nana all the time, the little toy that I throw in front of them for everything I do, keeping them out of that worried state of mind. That's the main emphasis of what I'm doing, okay? But I wanted to kind of get a little bit more into the theories, and then again where I learn things and how I come up with my theories over the years. I was born and raised in the country, okay? My mom was a thoroughbred horse agent. She was a trainer, and we had rein horses, we had trail horses, we had Appaloosas and quarter horses, and I was raised around it. In fact, there was a time period that we got to, our closest neighbor was like 3 miles away. If we wanted to go visit, we'd jump on a horse and we'd ride down to the neighbor's place. And because you didn't have city streets, we were way out in the boonies, right? 6-bedroom ranch house, way out in the middle of a piece of property that was way out there. So that was kind of my indoctrination into a lot of the animals, and she got me kind of seated. She wanted me to go towards horses, and I wanted to do dogs, and that was my way of getting mom to lay off of me, getting into my dogs. So this is where I come up with a lot of this stuff, because when you're working with animals like horses and things, some of the best stuff that you have coming at you come from the horse industry, whether you realize it or not. Leash pressure is talked a lot about. Where do you think that comes from? From a horse, from the bit, right? That's pressure. And teaching the dog to give to pressure. A horse is the same thing, right? So one of these things that I saw when I was a kid that made a lot of sense to me, that I've taken into my dog training, is what we call sacking out a horse. And you hear me talking about it with Lucifer in that video. And what it boils down to is when colts and babies are young, and young horses, they're very skittish. And you're talking a lot bigger animals, so they can end up hurting you, and they can hurt themselves very easy. So how you handle that animal when you're leading them from place to place, and then doing what they call sacking out the animal and getting them used to being acclimated to environment, is a method that they call sacking out the horse. And it's generally in regards to teaching a horse to have a saddle thrown on his back, right? And when they're very young, anything coming towards their back, they're going to skittish away from, and they're going to try to get away from it. And now you're trying to fight the animal to try to get a saddle on their back. You don't want to do that. So you've got to acclimate them. You've got to get them so used to this that they become blasé about it, and they will accept the saddle being put on their back, and you can saddle them up and go out and go riding. So they call it sacking out the horse. And it's basically with colts. They take a sack, a gunny sack, right? This is where it comes from. That's where the word comes from, sacking, right? You're sacking out the horse. They take the sack and they throw it up in the air, and they kind of do it away from the horse a little bit, and they get the animal used to them kind of throwing it up in the air, and then pretty soon the horse accepts that, and then you get a little closer, and as the days go by, you're basically getting the sack to be able to be touched with the animal. I'll take it in my hand and I'll rub the horse's back, and I'll let him sniff it, and very slowly acclimating him to this object that's going to be coming towards their back. And you're using the sack because it's nice and loose and it's light and it's not going to hurt the animal. Once you get them used to that with a slow, steady progress to getting them to be able to be used to having that on them, now you can take the blanket. And the blanket's got some weight to it, a little bit of girth and sponge. It's a different object. Now we've got to work with that. And then eventually you get to the saddle, and you start working with trying to get it to be thrown onto the animal's back, right? That's basically what they call sacking out the animal, okay? Sacking out the horse. So I use basically the same principle when I'm thinking about doing what I'm doing with my puppies. I'm desensitizing them to the environment. I'm very slowly, methodically sacking them out. I go around the store. I feel like an idiot sometimes. I don't really think that way. I look at everybody else and say, think what you want to. I don't care. I've got a job to do. So I will go in and I will start knocking on things, hitting on boxes, taking every little object that's got a little bit of tinny sound to it. That's why Tractor Supplies go great. They've got so many items that you can grab all kinds of stuff. and I'm making noise and I'm knocking on things and I'm redirecting the dog with a toy and I'm keeping him happy, and then I might go up onto the bags of food and I might ask for a sit and then a down, and realize I've already got this behavior built in at home. This is what I've been doing, and now I'm going to go out in an environment and I'm doing sacking the animal out, I'm getting them desensitized, getting used to all these little noises, and keeping them out of that worried state of mind. They're not used to people per se, so every time they see a person coming towards them, they get whale-eyed and they get a little bit. My job is to keep them distracted, to keep them happy, and I feel they can accept it, and I look at the person, I think they would like to pet a puppy, and maybe they're good enough to be able to help me with this. I will take food and I will actually take it out of my hand that they've already learned to target with my little hand target, my luring that I've been doing at home, and I will take my hand, I will let them start luring into my hand, and I will bridge it and I will put it into their hand, right? They hold their hand out, and now there's a different smell. That's a human that they don't know. They're not familiar with that person. They go up, they smell the hand. Now they're getting used to this new individual, right? I'll let the people come down to their level, and I'll very slowly and methodically, I will sack the animal out. This will take me about a week or two until I get the dog so comfortable that they're blasé about this environment. I may work down at Tractor Supply only for the first week. The reason I do this is because now the dog gets used to and familiar with that location, and that becomes familiarity, becomes them becoming relaxed and more accustomed, and I can get them to do more. And now I'm getting into jumping on the sacks. I might ask for a sit, I might ask for a down. I'm going back to things that they are already familiar with, right? Now the animal's doing that, and they'll do my explosion release right off those bags. If they're not too high, they're kind of a low stack of bags, and it's yep, and I right away back up, and so I'm hitting them with behaviors and things that their brain is already familiar with. That takes their state of mind into something that can be more secure. It's all about how many times do I say this? All about where the dog's head's at in the work, okay? Watch the dog, read the dog, figure out where they're at, and realize the basic main points that I'm trying to point out to you. Use your nana, throw it out in front of them a little bit, get them excited. That's going to take their state of mind to excitement. Chase, where's their head when they do that? They are now in a totally different state of mind. This is the key. Being able to flip them from one state of mind to another and keep them from going into the worried state of mind is the biggest thing in what I do, okay? So once I get them used to Tractor Supply and I feel comfortable, my gut will tell me that we are now ready to start broadening it and making it a little bit more challenges, right? Now we'll go to Tractor Supply. I'll start out with them. I'll get them doing real well. I'll get them back in the truck and I'll go drive down to Home Depot. They've been used to a time scale of going to Tractor Supply, driving back home. What am I doing with that? I'm getting them used to taking car rides, right? So now I'm getting more and more accustomed. They're drooly. They've fouled their crate. First day I took them out when I went down to Norman's place, they fouled their crate. Actually, it was Daryl Young's, his class on Saturday. They puked everywhere. They were fouled. I had to take them out, wash them all off, and it's always a miserable mess when you're messing with a lot of puppies like this. So I washed them all out. I had to spray out the kennel and everything. I got them back in the kennel, and now they're kind of drying out, and then I was able to go do my thing out in Daryl's class. There was a lot of dogs out there, so I was basically just sacking them out with that. You don't go heavy. You keep them away from the dogs. You keep them into you, and you just let them kind of figure it out on their own without really pushing them into it, because we don't want to have any negatives, right? We all want all positive. So we take it slow, right? So then I'll go to Tractor Supply for 3 to 5 days. I'll get them used to that. When my gut tells me we're ready to, I will broaden it and I will go down to Home Depot. It's a different location. There's a lot of the same type of attributes though. It's got shelves and store aisles. The aisles are larger, the product's a little bit more spread out, but I've got slippery floors that I can throw the toy on. And I want you to also think about something else. When I have that toy, that little bone is a flat toy, and I need to talk about this a little bit. I don't have it to show you right now, so I can't demonstrate it, but bottom line, I pick an item. I don't take a ball. Okay, the reason I don't take a ball or something that's going to roll and travel a lot of distance is because they end up going underneath those aisles, right? They go up underneath the shelves. They get lost. The dog is trying to find it. He's trying to get in there. He might hurt himself because he's trying to reach too deep in underneath the shelves, and then it becomes a negative, right? So I take an item like that little canvas bone that I always work with, my little na-na that I like, and I throw it on the floor, and it's flat, so it's going to kind of slide and it's going to stop. So I have more control over it. It's not going to bounce in underneath the aisles and become a problem. It's the same reason I don't use a ball out in public that much, because if I throw it and it goes out in the street, I've got a problem, right? So you got to think this things through. So I take an object that I've got a little squeaky in and things that they can they like, but it won't roll, tumble, and go up underneath things and get lost as much, and won't be as much of a problem. It's more exact for my ability to throw it and where I want it, right? So that's pretty much it. That's where I come up with the theory of sacking. I say it every now and then. You'll hear me saying sacking the puppy out, sacking the horse out. That's where it comes from, and I take that whole concept right into what I'm doing with them in their environment. I use stores that are dog friendly because there's always items that I can rattle and shake, rattle, and roll, and I'm sitting there knocking on things, and I'll use my voice a lot, okay? And this is just my style. I believe in it. I think it's very advantageous. I will knock on things, and yay up, and I'm talking to the dog all the time. I'm giving them something that's familiar. My voice tone, I'm talking to them, and I'm letting them kind of soak it all in at their own. As time goes along, I'm going to back that up. If I go out with Joker and Buddy, obviously, I'm not sitting there knocking on things. They've already been through all this, right? But I've got to get these puppies through this and get them acclimated so they start to get comfortable and they become secure in themselves, and we grow confidence. Remember, we're always trying to grow the dog, right? We have two factors in growing the dog: your skill and your ability to make sure they don't have any negative. Remember, it's out in the real world, so that means you don't have total control over your whole environment. Be careful. I make things look easy, and the reason I do is because I've been doing it so long and dealing with the public and doing what I do, that I carry myself in such a way that I don't have a lot of the same responses that I hear about my customers. I've had customers come at me and say, I can't get people to leave me alone. They're always coming over trying to pet my dog, and I don't have that problem. And there's just something that how I carry myself and what I say and what I do. An example of that was the other day I went to the store and I had a negative situation that happened. I won't go into it now, but the negative situation I realized when I looked back at it and analyzed it was something that I do. I always chatter. The dog's first day out. This is their first day out in the big world. I talk to people in a chattering little way so they get an idea of what's going on, and that gives them something to be able to understand. If I say nothing and I walk in the store, it leaves them to be able to make the choices what they want to do, and now they may make a bad choice and come at me when I don't want them to. Right? But if I set up the conversations, I kind of try to, how you doing today? You know, and they see the dog. They're not stupid. They see a little bit of fear tendencies in a young puppy, and I say things like that. They right away go towards the point of view of understanding that I'm doing something and I'm doing a job. And now they're going to lay back and they're going to let me do what I do. So this comes from experience. I'm kind of trying to analyze it. I'm pointing it out because I want you to understand what is it that I do that I might have better success than somebody else that doesn't understand that, right? You have to control your environment. How you interact with the people, how you interact with the store people. They work there. It's their store. You have to respect their areas. You can't do things to a degree that you get them irritated at you and they don't want you in their store, okay? It's real important. You have to build relationships. It's all about building relationships. I am lucky enough that I've been doing this long enough that I can build a relationship almost anywhere I go, but it takes time, right? Now, I've got all these store members there that all know me. They basically all respect the fact that I'm doing something, and they like it when I come in because I'm only there, 5-10 minutes, maybe a half hour. This morning, I think I was there a little longer because I had 4 dogs with me. It was cool this morning, which was nice. I loaded all 3 puppies in the car, and I loaded Eros in the car, and Eros got to go with me. So I got to work every one of those puppies, and each one 10-15 minutes in the store, back out. So what was I there, a half hour, maybe even an hour, right? So at the end, towards the end, I was kind of out wearing my welcome. I made sure I grabbed a bottle of oil. I need some oil for my generator. I grabbed the oil and I bought something. I'm trying to make sure that I don't wear out my welcome. It's very important, right? So I'll keep working at it and make sure that I don't wear out my welcome and they don't chase me out of the store, and we'll keep doing what we do. All right. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Have a good day, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.